Good times. Good morning. It is good times. It's Wednesday and it's dark outside. This is reminding me that it's becoming winter. I have Anne and Sydney here from TBCC. Good morning, ladies.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Anne, tell me again what your title is.
I am the Chief Academic Officer at Tillamook Bay Community College.
Like you said, that's a little bit of a mouthful.
Well, it means that I oversee all of the instructional programs at the college and have the privilege of working with all of our faculty as well.
Mm-hmm. Which Sydney is faculty and here today to talk about some of the things that you have going on, right?
Yes. Yeah, Sydney is one of our writing and English faculty. Among many other things, she's multi-talented. She's also the editor of the National Community College Humanities Review.
Oh, wow.
She also sings in her spare time, not in the classroom usually, and is a yoga instructor and kayaker and many, many other things. But she's here today to talk about some special projects we have going on at the college.
Okay, yeah, talk to me. So tell me what you do at the college. Well, I'm going to let her talk because I can't hear her microphone.
Okay, well, I'm the full-time faculty in English at Tillamook Bay Community College, and I work with several of our other writing instructors who are adjuncts, and we've put together a team of really good writing instructors this year.
No, keep talking.
Which has been pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And you have you said she's the editor of a national...
Yes, the Humanities Review for community colleges as well.
Which is, it's national? It's a national
Yes.
publication?
I've been a presenter. I've been a presenter at the Community College Humanities Association conferences for many years. And last year, I approached the national chair or the
president of the organization
and sort of mistakenly lauded my editing skills, and therefore
Isn't that how it always happens?
And now I'm tasked. It's a journal that fell a little bit to the wayside for a couple of years, and so my task was to relaunch the Humanities Review, and we actually just finished our third issue. It's a biannual magazine, and yeah, it has a national audience. You can even find it on Amazon Prime, of all things. So,
yeah, that's kind of cool. And so, what does it cover?
Well,
because humanities is kind of a large overview statement.
Yes. And yeah, when we talk about the humanities, we're talking about all the social sciences, philosophy, history, obviously literature, art. So it's a journal that used to focus solely on scholarly, peer-reviewed research, which is about as exciting as it sounds. But we've definitely been branching out. We've actually been including some profiles of both national figures on the literary scene as well as actually students. We have in the next issue, we have a student from Baltimore Community College who had to overcome some odds in order to graduate, and so we're starting to branch out and profile the entire community college community. And what's neat about having me, and I have to give my librarian, Mason Phoenix, props because he helps me out a lot with some of my research for this, is that most of the journal and a lot of these scholarly articles are mostly East Coast, and I would say in much larger towns. And to have Tillamook Bay kind of represent not just Tillamook, but the entire Pacific Northwest, we are now the kind of hub of this journal, and it's pretty really exciting. Cool. And so I make sure our name is all over everything as often as possible.
Heck yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know I was thinking as you were talking about kind of what it is, and I was thinking, that's amazing. The things that come out of this community are amazing.
Exactly.
I mean, we are pilot projects for certain things. We have amazing people that are here. We have a plethora of local authors. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. Our community is amazing for being such a small community.
Yeah, it's often surprising. And I tell people when they move here, I have a student actually at the community college who's new to the area, and she was in my office and she looked a little stricken and wondering, and she started asking me about our community. And I said, and she was asking, she's a musician and she likes art. And I said, we're all out here, because I'm a writer myself and a musician. And I said, trust me, you will find your people.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. It is a lot of dairy farms and farmers, but then we have that lovely culture that goes into it, the art and all of that.
Yeah, and the community theater here is so great. Yeah.
Yep.
Tremendous group of really, really talented people in our area. And Sydney's breadth of experience and all of the different abilities she has really enriches the classroom for her students. In particular, we launched this quarter, the beginning of this fall, a pretty special project that was the outgrowth of a grant that we received last year. All of the writing faculty worked together to design a means of helping our students improve their writing skills, and which then leads into college level classes and helps them succeed. What the writing faculty led by Sydney developed is called the Writing Studio, and I'll let Sydney tell you a little bit about that, because it's a really innovative project. It's one that, although we don't have grant funds anymore, we decided it was so important that we were going to go ahead and implement it this year. And it's an innovative enough concept that it's attracting attention around the state and around the country as well, and probably will be presented at some national conferences as well.
Oh, wow.
Sydney?
I like how nicely she did that. I'm actually going to take a real quick break and then let you talk about that. Was hilarious.
Sounds good.
Sydney, over to you.
Set you up.
Yeah, you want the real thing, quality beef right out of the smokehouse. Tillamook Country Smoker is pulling out a batch right now. Pioneers of a unique brand of beef jerky, Tillamook Country Smoker ships thousands of pounds throughout the world every day. Visit the retail store on Warren Street at Highway 101 in Bay City. They're open 9 to 5, 7 days a week, with 2-foot-long pepperoni sticks for $1 and great deals on bags of jerky. The job's done right at Tillamook Country Smoker. Be sure to visit them online at tcsjerky.com. So we're talking with Sydney, who is a teacher, instructor, professor. Do we call you a professor? I don't know what the...
If you want to be formal, but not technically.
Okay.
Faculty member.
Yeah.
Faculty, there we go. At TBCC, and Anne, who is also on staff at TBCC as the director. You're going to tell me what you would do again.
Because
it's a long...
She's my
name.
boss, basically.
Yes. You bring in the faculty and kind of manage them, right?
Right, to help develop new programs, new course offerings, and so on. Yes.
Oh, yeah, she's my boss. Okay, so let's talk about the writing studio and kind of what's coming out of that.
Well, it was pretty exciting. Well, at first it was daunting. We were tasked by the state to combine some of our developmental ed writing courses. And at first, I have to admit, I was resistant. But then when the state tells you to do something,
you figure it out.
But what happened is that we decided, okay, how are we going to make this work so that we can make sure our students are successful and can complete these courses? And so we started thinking about, well, we can have them take a writing lab, like the math and science classes. They have a lab usually attached to their coursework. And from that idea, it evolved into, well, maybe we shouldn't just have a lab for developmental ed students. Maybe we should have a writing center, and then we changed it to a studio. That was the idea of one of our adjuncts, Michelle, who's been really great with this project. But we decided to call it a writing studio that can help all of our students across the disciplines in different areas of writing.
Because that's not a natural thing for some people to write.
It's actually really frightening. And a lot of my coursework, I actually do presentations on the trauma-informed classroom and helping students overcome anxieties and fears around the writing process. Because for some students, it is a real struggle. And so in the writing studio, we developed, well, first off, we've made a very comfortable space for our students. And it's open 4 days a week, mostly in the afternoons, with couches and a sofa and round tables, really, really comfortable, a few computers. And it is staffed by an adjunct instructor, so an actual qualified teacher. So there's somebody there who is absolutely qualified to help them with their coursework. And then what was really exciting and what was really different is we developed modules, basically little mini lesson plans on various topics, everything from grammar to proper source citation to how to do
that's
research,
how to write citation,
how to even write a thesis statement. A lot of students don't even know how to do that. I mean, it's difficult. And students can access these exercises, work with a writing instructor. And what's even more exciting is that these modules are accessible online for the faculty and other instructors. And we hope to open it up to even, further so that other faculty members and instructors are aware that if their students are struggling in a certain area, they have access to those exercises, and then they can direct the student to the studio to get the extra help they need.
And so one of the really unique aspects of this project is that Sydney and the writing faculty rewrote and redesigned our developmental course. And integrated into that course, it is now required for students to spend 2 hours a week in the writing studio getting that extra assistance. And that is not required outside of the course, but it's integrated into the course as a part of the course. So not only have they developed a studio which has tremendous support for all of our students, but they're also getting the Reading Writing 115 students, which is the course that is preparatory to the English composition class, getting them into the writing studio 2 hours a week to take advantage of all of the modules and supplemental instruction. So catching them before so that we can provide that support, and then they'll be more apt to succeed as they go on in their college studies.
I am having flashbacks as we're talking about this of sitting in front of my computer screen, blank page, cursor blinking, going, I don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
Or getting it done and then going, oh God, now I got to go back through this thing and figure out where to cite and how to cite and making sure it's correct. And so, it's a very daunting thing, and it's much different than, I think they integrate a little bit of that into high school, but if you got a GED, I don't think that's not part of the GED process, is it? Writing papers and things like that. It's just a test, isn't it?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
And even the high school level isn't usually the same as, it's a little bit more intense college level wise. So
yeah, we look for curriculum alignment between the high schools and TBCC. But remembering, too, that a lot of our students are returning after being absent for a long time.
That's what I did, for sure, yeah.
And a lot of times they just need that brush up. They need a refresher, and some of them maybe didn't used to have to cite sources and nearly as much as we do now. And so, everyone is welcome to drop by. And the exciting thing is every time I've walked by this week or since we've started, students are actually in there.
That's great.
Yes.
And like you said, a nice, relaxing, calm, quiet, and because sometimes that can be, if you're, at Starbucks or at Five Rivers Roasters, or even at your house, depending on what's going on at your house, it can be really stressful, so distracted by what's going on around you. And that's great.
Right. It does have a coffee shop environment without the coffee.
Yes. And all the chatter of everybody else.
That's right. That's right.
So you said that was open 4 days a week?
Yeah. We're still kind of figuring out. We're piloting this term, and our adjuncts are very busy professional people. And so a lot of it's kind of patchworking who can work when. But we are trying to be open Monday through Thursday because those are the days we most often have most of the classes, the bulk of our classes. So,
and is it open all day? Okay.
From 11 to 6
Oh,
generally.
so that's a good chunk of time.
Right. And the other unique thing about it is many colleges have writing centers, but they tend to be staffed with student tutors, for example. You started the segment off talking about how talented this community is. full of writers and artists, and also people who have a tremendous background in writing. So the center is staffed by those same people who teach in the classroom and who are authors in their own right. So the students have some of the best, most skilled people there to help them and advise them as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And one of our modules too, which we're still expanding the ideas here, because we want it to also, at some point, let the community know that if they need help with, say, writing a cover letter or writing a scholarship letter, we have an actual module for how to write a good scholarship letter. So we are a community college, and so sometimes it's nice to know that somebody could actually come to the college and maybe get help on something.
Yeah. So it's open not just for students, it's open for anybody, or do you have to be a student?
Well, we've been concentrating on students right now, but with the level of expertise that's there, I'm sure that if community members needed some advice on a special project, we'd be willing to help them. Obviously, that's what we're here for.
What a great resource. I mean, we're sitting here talking, and I just keep thinking back to being in college and trying to, and I went back to college. I did community college for a couple of years and then took a break and was in the corporate field for a long time, and then decided to go back and finish up, and it was hard. It was hard to go, and I was doing online classes, so it was even harder because I didn't have. I mean, I could have gone into the local office, but it was in San Diego and like half an hour away. Yeah, I remember that. I remember how difficult it was to start and remember how I'm supposed to cite, and then there were different styles of citing that certain teachers wanted one and certain teachers wanted another. Yeah, that's great.
The first day of class, too, I talk about the writing environment and just how important that is. A lot of students don't realize that having time and space, that often writing isn't something you can attack in 15-minute intervals and feel like you're doing well. And so I ask them to consider space and create a space at home. And if they don't have that, at least now they have a space at school. And it's very, very important. As a writer myself, I have a very set ritual and environment that I have to have in order to write. So, and a space of time, blocks of time.
Yeah. You can't write a paper that's due the next day at 10:30 at night. I would not recommend that. Well. It won't be that great of a paper, I tell you. I have to take another quick break. We're going to talk about Tillamook Motor Company. Are you ready to go to work? Tillamook Motor Company has huge discounts on commercial vans, plus 0% financing for up to 72 months. Ford Transit vans stand head and shoulders above the competition. Configure the cargo doors to suit your job, and it has a cargo box floor that is flat with near vertical sides for maximum usable space. Choose from a wide range of products designed to suit different trades: cargo dividers, multi-racks, bulkheads, and sliding platforms. Use your imagination to create one hardworking vehicle designed with you in mind. Take a test drive today at Tillamook Motor Company on the friendly corner of 5th and Main in downtown Tillamook. Tillamook Motor Company, a better place to do business. So we're talking with Sydney and Anne from TBCC. I know there were other things. We only have about 10 minutes left, and there were some other things you wanted to cover, Anne. So would you like to jump into those?
Well, I just wanted to mention that we were talking a little bit earlier about online classes, for example, and you were talking about your experience taking online classes.
Oh, I could talk a lot about my experience with online classes. Don't delay. Don't procrastinate, because that was my problem.
So online classes, we know, are very convenient, but it's also sometimes challenging to get help in those online classes when you need it. So the Writing Studio, as Sydney mentioned, all the modules that are available for use in the Writing Studio are also being developed in an online format for people to use. And this year we've also implemented an online tutorial system. It's called NetTutor. The information has been sent out to all of our students and all of our faculty, but by using NetTutor, students can actually access tutors online in virtually any field that they need help in. The outfit is actually located in Florida, but they require all of their tutors to have at least a bachelor's and preferably a master's degree in the field.
Wow.
And there's a schedule of the tutoring available online. It's free to students, so I encourage them to also check that out because it can be very, very helpful for them. And to continue the theme of supports for our students, we have also, last year we piloted what is called our wraparound math tutoring. So for students who are taking math classes at the college, especially classes that lead up to Math 111, which is that college level math class, we have implemented tutoring in the student's classroom an hour and a half before the class and an hour and a half after the class. And we have, once again, a qualified adjunct who is in the classroom during that period to provide additional tutoring for students. That way it makes it much more accessible for students. It's in their current classroom. It's immediately before and after the class. And the students don't have to go somewhere else to contact people that maybe they're not familiar with,
Right.
and identify themselves as needing help. Sometimes that can be a barrier for many students. So we've really been working this last year on beefing up our additional supports for our students. And I think that that's going to help students succeed in the long run to a much greater degree as well.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of really exciting things going on at the college. Our enrollment is up tremendously. This quarter, we're working on developing new programs, new course offerings to help get more variety in there for our students and the community. And as I said, we've implemented now 3 different kinds of tutoring for our students. And we've also been working on developing what is called an enhanced advising model, where faculty members can alert our advisors if a student's having trouble in the class,
Yeah.
or maybe hasn't attended in some while. And we go that extra mile then to contact the student, talk to them, try to bring them back into the fold before they get too far behind and it gets so hard for them to recover from it.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's hard to ask for help sometimes.
It is.
And so, and if you, as a faculty member, can see that someone is struggling, that's a great way to reach out before they get to the, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's too hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think and you're absolutely right. It's hard to reach out and come right out and say, I need help, but we all need help as students from time to time. And so if you create an environment where the students know right off the bat that help is available for them and for all other students, you've removed that barrier, I think, and make it more likely for the student to seek that help, and you make that help accessible to them.
And I liked the, what'd you call it, wraparound tutoring?
Yes.
That's a really cool idea, because if you're in a class, because of course, if you don't understand something specifically that's happening, but the rest of the class does, it's hard for the instructor to stop and work with one student while there's still a large class full of people. So to have that afterwards or before, hey, I was doing my homework and this totally threw me off and I couldn't figure it out. To have that before you go into class so that now you're on the same plane as everybody else.
Right.
That's a really cool idea.
Well, and it's more convenient for the students' schedules because they're already coming to campus for the class. So you stop in a few minutes before, a few minutes after, and as you said, get help on that homework problem that you're stuck on before you go to class. So it helps you stay up with the pace of the class and not fall behind.
And then to have it after the class, if something is being taught that you don't understand. Because walking away, scratching your head, going, I have no idea what we were supposed to learn in class today because I didn't get it. That can be frustrating. And then that kind of goes along with the whole needing help and
Exactly. So more and more support for our students and a lot more variety in our course offerings. We're bringing in new faculty. in different areas as soon as we can find them. I encourage, if you're out there in the community, one of those tremendously gifted people or someone who has an interest in helping our students succeed, check out our website, because we're always looking for adjunct instructors. We're always looking for mentors as well, people who might be willing to work individually with a student, maybe who wants to go into the same field as that community member worked in, and can tell the student a little bit about the occupation, what the expectations are, and help advise that student in terms of the best course to help prepare them for that field.
Yeah. I tell you, every time somebody comes in, talks about TBCC, I get the warm and fuzzies. I just love it. So we started off talking about the writing studio, and I want to clarify, that's for anybody in any field. You don't have to be in the writing.
Right.
Don't have to be in the writing path.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
for if you have an agricultural paper you need to write, or a
biology
paper. Yeah, it's for all classes and
Yes.
all students. What a great thing.
Well, writing is it's one of the most valuable skills you can have today for obvious reasons. And we don't get as much practice writing today. We primarily get practice texting and
Definitely not
tweeting and
professional
so on.
writing. Yeah.
But as we get this studio implemented, we've got it up and running now. We're hoping by the end of the year that we can then introduce a Writing Across the Curriculum initiative to integrate writing into all of our courses so that students get a little bit more practice doing their writing, and by the time they leave the college, then they've got well-developed skills that can be put to use in any discipline.
Awesome. Hey, guess what? We're out of time.
Okay.
How'd that go so fast?
Yeah.
All the time, every time. Tomorrow we will have David Yamamoto on. Don't forget, senior meals, 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also noon every weekday at the Kiowanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. On Friday, the Pioneer Museum is hosting a Think and Drink program. Join a panel discussion, Time versus Money, the Challenges and Benefits of Tourism in Tillamook County, while enjoying a beer from the Pelican. The event starts at 7 at the museum. RSVP is required by calling 842-4553 before 4 o'clock tomorrow. The Kiltis Pumpkin Patch is open for another fun weekend of pumpkin picking and corn mazing, Saturday from 12 to 6 and Sunday from 12 to 5. And on Saturday, we were just talking about writers and all that. Art Accelerated is having another open mic night. Do you ever go to those, Sydney?
I haven't yet. My schedule has not lined up,
Okay.
but I plan to.
Okay, well,
I heard they're great.
Yes, I've been there before. It's really fun. It's held at Yo Time. Eric Sappington is hosting this event, and it starts at 6:30. If you haven't heard about the Chamber's Downtown Sweepstakes, you purchase from any downtown business located between Stillwell and Laurel and 1st and 5th. Bring the receipt to the Chamber during their business hours and enter their weekly sweepstakes. Coincidentally, their sponsor this week is Art Accelerated. And right now I'm giving away a scream of a deal. First caller wins a large jack-o'-lantern large pizza from Papa Murphy's and a 1-pound chocolate chip cookie dough. First caller, 842-4422. Thanks, ladies, for coming in this morning.
Thank
Thank
for
you.
having us.
And thank you, Tillamook, for listening.